Okay, let me get. Okay, welcome to the Pro Trader Club, guys. So let's get started with today's session. Today is 26th of March, and let's get started with our Pro Trader Club session. So let me give you some good news. Market is looking much more stable now, and looks like bulls are actually definitely coming in, and especially the FII selling has come down. The good point is that DIs can manage with the kind of selling which is happening currently. So which means that there could, it is not that there will not be any selling. Selling may still come, but till now what we were talking about sell on rallies, probably now onwards it will become buy on dips. So bulls are back in action. So the levels we will be discussing right now. So let's get started with the first part of our agenda, which is going to be our range for Nifty and Bank Nifty and what are we expecting to happen in the coming week. So let's get started with that. So last week I had actually told you that since we did not have the Pro Trader Club meeting last week, I had actually mentioned that in the Telegram group where I'm giving you the daily updates. I had actually clearly told you a couple of things. So whoever has actually not joined the Telegram group, if you're watching this on YouTube, there is a link below. Go and join the Telegram group or the WhatsApp group. Very important, because there we will be sharing with you daily updates also what is happening. So let me tell you what I had actually mentioned last week. So this is before last week what I had mentioned to you. At that time I had told you buy on dips, and later last week I had told you it could be sell on rallies. And if you see, that is exactly what has happened the last week. There has been some dips, but the whole thing is for the last 1 week. If you see, we are stuck in this tight range, very tight range. We have got stuck for Nifty, even for Bank Nifty also. We have got stuck very badly. Nifty, the range, Bank Nifty, the range is a little wider. But even if you look at this, we're still stuck here. And if you look at this, at this point of time also, Bank Nifty is looking a little more weaker compared to Nifty. Now, if Bank Nifty gains strength, then Nifty is going to actually start performing better. If suppose Bank Nifty is going to try, if any selling is going to come, that is mainly because of Bank Nifty. Okay, because Nifty is quite strong, and lot of sectors have become quite stronger. Pharma sector has become stronger, metal sector has become stronger, media sector has become stronger. IT is more or less, it's almost in the verge of becoming coming to the positive mode. So a lot of sectors are actually becoming positive, which is great. Okay, and others are also trying to settle down. So the kind of sell-off which actually we were expecting earlier, probably I don't think that is happening right now. All the, if you see, there are a lot of still negative news which are coming in the market, but if you look at the overall market, not only in the Indian market, the global markets also, we are not seeing that kind of a sell-off. If you see the European, the Ukraine-Russia war crisis is still happening, but we are not seeing any downside which is happening in the European market. It has actually become much more stable after bouncing quite a lot. It has become much more stable. There is lockdowns which are happening in China, and Chinese market, after that fall which happened, then it has started bouncing and it is doing quite well right now. Okay, so overall, a lot of countries which were actually having this COVID restrictions, they are trying to ease out. Singapore was one of the strictest countries when it comes to easing in case of this lockdowns and other things, especially for controlling the COVID. They have started relaxing. So if you look at that, all these things can be taken much more positively by the market, and that's what we are seeing currently. And the biggest thing is we are not seeing much of this. The expectation was that USD INR probably can go as high as around 80 rupees kind of thing. That is what was the expectation, but that is not happening. So from all these sectors, whatever we are seeing, it looks like market has started becoming much better right now, and we can actually look at buying on dips. So from this week onwards, according to me, market is more likely to come into buy on dips. Okay. So for us, let me tell you what here. Let me mention 16,800 could be the level. Till we are actually above this, I don't see any big challenge. There could be a possibility it may come and test this, but I don't see much of a challenge. So if I have to talk to you about the range which we are expecting for this week, it could be somewhere between maybe 17,600. I'll keep 16,800 at the lower end, 17,600 at the higher end. Now what happens is see, if you look at, or probably let me become much more conservative here. Let's say 17,000 here. 17,000 to 17,600, something very similar to what happened last week, but this week I think some kind of a breakout is going to happen there. And here, if we break this 17,000 level, probably there is a possibility of going towards 16,800. Okay. But I think 16,800 is going to be respected by the market. That's what we are expecting, looking at the way the market is there. And here is very important is if 17,600 is broken, then we should move towards the 17,800 levels, or even 18,000 levels are quite possible. See, what happens is 17,400 to 17,600, that is a very crucial level. That is where there is a lot of resistance, because a lot of time market has tried coming till there and it has actually reversed from that level. So this level is very crucial for us, 17,600 and above. We need to actually hold this level. See, this particular level is very crucial for the market. Every time when it comes towards this 17,000, sorry, here 17,600, 17,500, 550, all these places, it has actually a lot of times it has failed. So now if it has to do, we need to get a good sizable breakout here. Volumes has to be good. Otherwise, again, it will get into a range, or probably it may come down also. So all these things are possible currently. So from that perspective, I still feel the market is looking a little more stable, and look, because a lot of sectors have started performing well, I would expect that the market should also perform well. So if any drag can happen, it is because of Bank Nifty. And if we break this 16,800 level, then there is all the possibility we can retest the 16,400, 500 levels. Okay, so that is very important for us to understand. So this also depends on the global markets. If the global markets are going to be stable, then probably we can expect some good bounce back and good buying which can happen in the market. If the global market starts coming down, then there is a problem. But otherwise, I think overall market is looking much better compared to what it was 1 month back. Now it is giving some hopes that probably the liquidity is actually, which we were expecting it to dry out, is not that much of a challenge which we were seeing. So whatever short-term selling was there, that is done. And right now what selling is coming, it is pretty well okay. So LIC IPO also got postponed, because if that had also happened, that would have created a lot of challenge, because DIs would not have been able to support the kind of selling which was happening in the market. So LIC IPO got postponed, which was a big boom right now. I think by the time LIC IPO will come, I think FIs will start coming back into the market with the buying mode. So from that perspective, I think market may not actually have the challenges which we were expecting few days back. So I don't expect now. Now I think there is a very high possibility that the market has made a bottom. If at all there is some sell-off, according to me, 16,800 level somewhere here, it can actually come and take support and start going back up. or somewhere around 16,400 level. Somewhere at these levels, it may come, and then probably it may again start moving higher from here. So those are the two levels which we can expect market to, if at all it breaks. Looking at the way the market has actually moved up, and with the kind of way the other sectors have started performing, I don't expect this to happen. But again, it all depends on how the global markets are going to behave. Currently, the US market is looking very strong, and even the European markets are also looking quite stronger. So if there is some sell-off which will happen there, then that could. But everywhere, what has happened is, even in the European market, US market, everywhere it has got into a range. Now the breakout of this range is required. See, there is a possibility if we break this on the downside, we can come towards this 16,800 level, and 16,800, 16,700, somewhere here it should take support and start moving higher. But if that breaks, then 16,400, 500 is possible in the market. I would expect it to actually at least respect this and start moving higher. I don't expect, see, the kind of bearishness which we were expecting earlier, I think that is already digested by the market. I don't expect that kind of sell-off which is going to come. And currently, DIs are having enough capital and enough kind of a cash flow which is coming in. The liquidity has been quite good enough for actually sustaining this and taking it higher. And if you look at that, what has happened is, if you look at the overall, all the small cap companies, the valuations are not looking that expensive. So small cap, mid caps are still looking attractive. So from that perspective, the growth expectation is quite much higher for the Indian markets. So it is much more resilient, and even now the kind of markets like China, which had actually gone down very badly, they have started doing better, and there even the governments have started actually supporting the market. See, the government have created a huge problem with creating so many hassles in the Chinese market, and those things have settled down. So it is one of the biggest markets, and they have become stable. So Asian markets, if I have to see, that is one of the big largest, and they have become stable, which is a positive point. And US market is anyway doing good. Even European markets have started doing better. So I think the Russia-Ukraine thing, most of the negativity is already digested by the market, until unless there is a nuclear bomb which is actually being used. I don't expect such kind of a thing to happen. So all the other things are already digested by the market. So market is not going to again react to that old news. That is old news, and there could be a possibility that the war will end. And if that war ends, that is going to be more positive, and that will be taking the markets much more higher. So the negative news, whatever is there in the market, I think most of the negative news is digested by the market. So whatever is going to happen from here onwards could be much more positive. So let's look at what is happening in the Bank Nifty perspective. See, Bank Nifty is looking relatively weaker. It is looking relatively weaker, but here we are at a very important place where it can now take support. And if it can take support, I think then it will be good for the market. So if I have to, I will be still bullish at this point of time till we are able to hold 35,000. Okay, 35,000 is something which we expect the market to hold. So let's see, will it respect that or not? Okay, so this is what we are expecting the market to do. It can be between 35,000 to 36,500. That is the expectation. If we break 36,000, okay, 36,000. Okay, let's actually see, this range could be even 36,000. Let's keep this in the smaller range itself. If it breaks 36,000, 36,500 is possible. And if it breaks 35,000, then I think, see, immediately it should actually go and test this 34,800, at least 200 points, the minimum is possible, or probably maximum. Let us keep a maximum limit of 34,500. I would expect it to respect this 35. It should actually try to hold this 35,000. And if it can hold 35,000 and start moving higher, see what has happened in Bank Nifty is there is a gap which has got formed here. So which is negative. There is already a gap here. Now this is a second gap. So looking at this, it is looking a little more weaker. But for us, if we can fill this gap and try going higher, and then we can go and fill this gap, then market will actually, then Bank Nifty will become stronger. So until we don't fill this gap, there is some challenge. I am expecting the market to somehow try to take some support here, because here if it cannot actually hold, then there is a possibility it will come and retest this 34,000 levels. See, there is a gap here also. There's a gap here. If we actually are unable to hold here, there's a possibility we'll come and fill this gap. And 34,000 can be a place from where it can start doing better off from here. So let's see, I would expect it to rather not go down and rather go higher, but anything is possible currently at the junction where we are, right? So anything is possible. So what is happening here is we are actually stuck in this particular range, and here if we actually start going below yesterday's low, that is on Friday's low, there is a possibility it will come and go towards 34,500. If that cannot hold, then probably even 34,000 levels where we have a gap. Okay, so that is possible in the market. But once we do this, I'm expecting the market rather try to move higher from here. So overall, though there could be some amount of downside which is possible, after this downside, there is all the possibility of an upside for Bank Nifty. So whatever downside is going to come, we have to look at taking that as an advantage. And from here, there's all the possibility it will try to bounce back. So if it is going to bounce back, I think it is going to actually start doing very well, and it can lead the rally from here. So let's see what happens on Monday. Monday, we will see the exact thing. There is all the possibility it is going to either break out or break down. And even if it breaks down from there, I'm expecting it to take support. Because see, what has happened here is this big movement, whatever has happened, that shows the strength of the bulls. They have actually taken the markets quite higher. If you see the kind of selling which has happened almost for more than 4 to 5 months, selling has happened. From October onwards, we have seen almost 6 months selling has happened, and we have almost tested more than 50% plus. We have actually retested it back. So, and in a very short span of close to hardly around a week to 10 days, which shows that there is a lot of strength in this particular buying there. So from that perspective, I would rather expect that the market should start doing better off coming here. So any dips can be a buying opportunity. Okay. Any questions you have, please ask me before we move to the next section. Any of you have any questions here, guys?
Yeah, sir, Mithun here. So this FIS, right? When do they think that they can enter into the market? Like what are the parameters they look at, and what is your estimate that when could they enter?
No, they are already there. See, what happens is there are different kinds of funds there. Some funds are there which are for shorter term. Some funds are there which are for longer term. So whichever are there for longer term, none of them have actually exited the market. They are still in the system. Who has exited the market are people who were actually here for the short term. See, what happens is this Fed rate hike is not something which was not known to anybody. It was very well known that that is going to come, especially when the inflation has gone so higher. everybody was knowing. But till here, the Fed was trying to actually help the growth of the economy, and from that perspective, they have kept the interest rates almost to zero. Now that the interest rates are going to increase, now all these people who have taken leveraged positions, who have actually bought in huge quantities, right? Now they have exited from the market. So now there could be much. See, it is like the first COVID crash, guys. So when the first time when that news comes, right, the reaction will be very high because nobody knows till what is the extent of damage it is going to create. So whatever is uncertain is something which is not liked by the market. So first time the reaction will be very, very high. After that, the same news, same things will not actually affect the market much. You have seen that after that big crash which happened, after that, every time that there has been some amount of sell-off, but again, that has been always an opportunity for buying, and markets have bounced back from there. So even for the Russia-Ukraine thing, first time there was a huge reaction, and after that, if you have seen, the markets have started moving higher from here. So from all those perspective, I think most of the negative things are done, and FIs, FPIs, whoever are there, whoever have here for the shorter run, I think they have already moved out, and whatever is, see this buying selling will keep happening. That is not going to make any difference. See, if somebody is selling with large quantity, there should be somebody who's also buying. So currently, the good thing is there is a lot of buying also coming, and the DIs are able to manage it. As long as they are able to manage it, I don't see any problem here. So there could be some selling which will come in, but I don't see a problem. So you have to be sector specific, stock specific. Okay. Currently, what you can see is some sectors are doing well. Pharma has started doing well. Okay. Number one, pharma has started doing well. Number two, metals have started doing well. IT has almost started doing very well. So IT has actually settled down to a very large extent, and media has started doing very well. So there are a lot of sectors which have started performing better. Banking is something which is little weaker at this point of time. Banking and financials are currently the weakest link at this point of time. If they also start becoming better, I think market will become much more stronger in the coming days. So from that perspective, it doesn't matter who is buying, who is selling. See, earlier it was actually, if you look at 2 years back when the FIs have sold, market crashed heavily because at that point of time liquidity was not much with our DIS. Currently, DIS liquidity is quite higher and they are able to take the markets higher. So that is a very positive thing which we can actually look at the markets, and market is looking very strong, guys. Market is looking strong. You have to be stock specific, as I said. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Tell me.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
I just wanted to understand if you see the currently in Indian market also and the outside of the global market also, inflation is increased so high, almost 40-50% everywhere the inflation is increased. And we, at least in automotive market, we really don't see any hopes. I mean, I don't know what is going to happen further because of this inflation and all. But how this will impact on the market situation? I mean, this current situation is really don't know it's a bubble or a small bubble, because so high inflation, everybody in the factories and everywhere they are really, I mean, scary about this inflation. I don't know how this inflation will going to get impact on the market.
It is definitely going to impact on the markets, no doubt on that. But at the same time, the growth is also happening. So you have to see two things which are there. There is inflation which is increasing, but at the same time, growth is also happening. If inflation is increasing, growth is not happening, there is a problem. That is the place where we will get into a recession. But at this point of time, inflation is increasing, at the same time, growth is also happening. So that is not going to affect much. Inflation, they are going to come into control over a period of time. It will take some time. The measures the RBI and the Fed, everybody is going to take the measures to ensure that the inflation will cool down. Okay. So one major thing what I see is I see a divergence, especially in the oil prices. Oil, which has actually moved up a lot. There is a lot of divergence which are there. See, currently almost $30. Actually, whatever it has moved higher, it is more because of this war. And this war is going to end very soon. Almost it is at the fag end of ending, because there is nothing else which is left out. So what happens is, after the war is ending, that premium of around $30 will anyway come down. Okay, that is number one. Second thing, there is a Iran is some place where there is actually imports which will see, there was a lot of sanctions which were there on Iran and all. Now that is actually going to slowly start being lifted, because Russia, everything is going to Russia right now. Okay, so from that place there will be some more production which will actually start happening. Third thing is this. All these OPEC countries which were actually controlling the production, they have started increasing the production. So what happens is, slowly oil prices will start stabilizing, and we will start seeing that the oil price will not actually hinder a lot, and slowly oil prices may actually reverse from here. See, that $20 whatever we had seen earlier during the crash, something that is going to come in the future. It will not happen immediately, but it is going to happen in the future, because there will be a lot of supply, and demand will not increase too much. So that is something which is going to happen in the future, because what is happening is, all the countries have started looking at alternative fuels. We have started looking at biogas, we are looking at ethanol, we have started looking at shale gas. There are so many things which have actually, alternatives have come. Electric vehicles is another alternative. So slowly the dependency on crude is going to start shifting. The fundamentals of oil industry is actually shifting.
Right.
So whatever inflation has happened because of the oil, that will cool down. And rest of the thing, I think, is not actually too much. Most of the thing has happened because of that. That is actually almost around 20-30% is mainly because of that. So if that cools down, rest of the thing will slowly start cooling off.
Correct, sir. Hopefully, at least it will take months, or 1.5 months, 2 months to get this inflation cool down. It is not going to get suddenly down. But then how the market is showing?
Think about sooner.
Yes.
Inflation will take time. See, one thing you need to understand: if our income increases, inflation is never a problem. The problem is when our income doesn't increase. So what you can see is, if you look at the last 1 or 2 years, though inflation has actually gone higher, income levels have also started going higher. Most of the companies have actually given more higher salaries, and more jobs are actually getting created. So the growth is happening. So as long as growth is happening, inflation slowly will come into control.
Right.
So there you don't have to worry too much. Yes, there is a temporary problems, but that is going to be temporary.
Right, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yeah. Anybody else has any other questions? Okay, let's move to the next part of our agenda, which is I want to see, now we have much more stable, so we can actually look at some swing trades. So I've identified 2 stocks where we can look at some swing trades. One will be IDFC, another will be IEX. So let me actually tell you the levels where we can look at these things. So before that, let me actually make you a disclaimer. I am not a SEBI registered analyst. I am actually giving you my opinion. So whatever you are going to take any trades, you need to actually look at your risk reward, and you need to have your own due diligence before you take any kind of a trade. So this is only my personal opinion where I am personally trading. Okay, so let me actually tell you here. At this place, IDFC has actually given a good breakout. If you see here, there has been good volumes which have actually increased recently, and if you see here, this was a place where it was stuck in a range, and from here
we
it has
can't see your screen.
breakout. Sorry,
We can't see your screen.
you can't see the screen, is it? One second.
No, we can see. I can see. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I'm in the different.
I can.
Yes. Now it's visible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me actually show you here. See, IDFC, it was stuck in this particular range. After stuck in this range, it has actually given a good breakout. And if you see here, volumes have also increased almost double of that. So this is at a place where we are seeing some good breakout here. So the expectation is it should at least test. This will be our first target and this will be our second target, which we are expecting it to test. So where are we expecting it to buy? At the current levels, we can go ahead and buy. See, at the current level where we are, we have closed at around 63.85. Okay, high it has gone to 64.80 on this Monday, sorry, on Friday. So let's actually keep this. So buying can be done at the current levels, which is somewhere between 64 to 65 rupees. This could be a good entry level, and previous days low can be our stop loss, which is 62. And the target we can expect is this. It can test this high. Okay, this high, which is around 66.45, and this could be the other thing, which is 68. Okay, 66.5 could be our first target, and 68 can be our second target. It can go higher than that, but I think it is a decent thing if you can make any of these profits. Okay, this can be a swing trade. You can look at this on Monday. You get as long as we are getting at 64, 65 rupees, I think it's a good buy from here. So the risk you have is around 2 to 3 rupees here, and the reward is equally the same. So almost 1:1 is the risk versus reward here. Okay, so you can actually do this on the probably equity you can directly do instead of doing it with any kind of option futures and all is 10,000 lot. So be careful here because a small change can actually impact hugely. So try to actually do it in equity, it will be much better. If you are trying to do it in futures and all, try to hedge it, otherwise it will be quite risky. Okay, that is first trade which I am actually looking at. The second trade which we are looking at is IEX. So IEX also, if I have to look at IEX, see what has happened with IEX is I can see here something like a inverted head and shoulder which has got formed, and we have also tested this. We have also tested the neckline. So this is an inverted head and shoulder pattern which has formed, and we have also tested the neckline. So if we have to start moving higher, so the neckline is somewhere here. Okay, so from that perspective, if I have to look at this, so neckline comes somewhere around 223 levels, 223, 220, yeah, 223 levels is actually which we can expect. So 223 to our target can go as high as almost around 20 points. So 20 points movement is possible in IEX. So current level, I think it is good place for us to look at buying. What is the price at which it has closed? It has closed somewhere around 228, right? 228 was the low. It has closed almost around the low. So if we are getting at anywhere here, okay, let me put this here. Buy around 235 to 230, 38 is okay. Current levels is perfectly okay. Okay, stop loss we need to keep as 228, right? 1 second, where are we? Yeah, 228. 225 to 228. This range we can actually look at this. So 220. One second, where is it? This is the neckline. Neckline is somewhere around 290. 1 second. Let me see the exact thing here. Okay, 218. 218, 219 is our neckline. Okay, so I'll have to keep there. 217 should be our stop loss. Okay, it should not go below the neckline. As long as we are ahead of the neckline, it is fine. So currently, since on Friday we had actually gone down a little bit, I want it to start moving up. Then only buy. Don't buy randomly at any price. If it goes further down, let it go further down and let it start moving higher from there. That is the only place where you will look at buying here. And here you can actually expect the target which we are expecting here is somewhere around, see, total target is somewhere around 218 to 200, so almost around 230, 238, 235 is something which we are expecting. So here the first target we can look at this and this place. Okay, easily we should be able to test this. Okay, so the first target will be 235. Okay, the second target can be 240. So these are the two targets which we can expect here. And if it starts moving higher, I think generally after this particular thing, it has potential to move much more further higher, because here what we have seen is a very important reversal pattern here. And after this reversal pattern, it can continue move much more higher also. So as long as the momentum is going to continue, you can stay invested in this particular stock. Overall, there was a correction which was due, and I think most of the correction is done. And if you remember, for IEX, I had actually told you if you want to accumulate, it will be somewhere where I mentioned it. Yeah, I mentioned it here. Remember, accumulation can be done between 150 to 200. I think the low it made is 193. Okay, so it has actually done a good low, and if you see here, it has started doing better. And looking at the way it is doing, I think it should start moving back towards. It should start doing better. It should start again giving a good movement from here. Overall structure of the stock is very good, and the sell-off which was expected, that has actually been done, and I think more or less the selling is done here. If you want to accumulate also is perfectly fine. I showed you here, right? Inverted head and shoulder. This place. Look at this.
Clear, sir.
Okay. Only challenge is this second shoulder is a little more lengthier. Generally, the first shoulder should be the second shoulder should be a little more shorter, but overall, actually, it is doing good there. And again, if you see, even on the trend line, it is taking support. So, from all those perspectives, it makes more sense. And here, if you see, it is actually stuck in this particular range. Okay, so it needs to move out of this range. Once it moves out of this range, I think it will give a good move. Let it move out of this range and let it move, start moving above the 60 RSI. It has actually taken resistance at 60 RSI. If it starts actually breaking ahead of that, I think things will start doing better for this. Okay. So these are the two stocks which I was actually expecting you to understand, because this is something which can actually give us some good profits in the coming days. So this could be a swing trade ideas which can be done. So the third part of the agenda is about our multi-bagger stocks. Since we have recommended a lot of multi-bagger stocks, instead of recommending something new, now that we have come to a place where we have to take a relook at the things, let me tell you a couple of things. Remember, first thing I had actually told you about this future retail. I had clearly told you, move out. If you have actually taken anything, you should not hold this. I had actually told about this earlier in one of my sessions. If any of you are still holding, I don't expect future retail, if at all, Reliance is going to start actually, if they have to come to some kind of an understanding, because what has happened currently is Reliance will also not be interested. Amazon actually is only stalling, so it is completely difficult for actually future retail. See, earlier what was the possibility is any of them will overtake. That would have been a good scenario for future retail. But now what has happened is where Reliance has actually taken over all the stores. So when they already have a store, they don't even require the future retail brand. They are creating their own separate brand. It was the real estate which was the most important part, and they have already taken over more than 60% of it. So this is not going to actually sound good. I had told you, and after I told you, I think when I told you about this, it was somewhere here, and I think after that it has fallen down very badly. And this is going to continue, guys, and this has all the possibility of becoming zero. Don't try to actually become brave here, because fundamentals are completely gone here. So I am expecting that the future retail is going to close down. So there's no point in buying. So if at all it doesn't happen, then there is a hope. But for that to happen, it can become a Satyam kind of thing. It may go as low as single digit. There we will see if anything is there, anything we are able to see there, then we will have a look at it. But currently, it's completely avoid. Okay, since I had told you about this, I'm actually also telling you about this. A lot of people keep asking me about idea is perfectly fine. It is in the same range. There's nothing that we need to worry about. Okay, so after some time it will move out of this range. See, until it is in this range, see, look at our box trading strategy also. It is still in that particular box only. There is nothing that we need to worry. Okay, so if you want to accumulate, you can still accumulate at these levels. I think there is no problem. A lot of fundamentals have started becoming better for the stock, so things will actually do quite well here. Okay, then we had talked about Suzlon, and if I have to look at Suzlon also, I don't see any major challenge here. We had recommended somewhere around 5-6 rupees range, right? So it is still doing better only. So it is in a range where, though actually fall has happened across the industries, so it is the same thing here. So it is in a range. There is nothing that we need to worry about this. REC, I did not recommend any point of time, right? I'm just trying to tell you whichever stocks I had personally recommended. These are the stocks I had personally recommended. This could be our future multi-bagger stocks. So I'm trying to give you my view on that. This is another stock which was JP Power, which I had actually recommended. Again, it is in the same range. It is in the same place. There's nothing which is actually changed here. I don't see any problem. Yes, there will be some hiccups here and there, but I don't see any problem. Results have started doing better off. So over a period of time, this will actually start doing better. So there's nothing that we need to worry about this stock. Okay. The next stock which we had recommended is BPL. BPL, I had actually told you some time back that we can stay away from it also, because if you see here, there was this big up circuit kind of thing, then the down circuit. Now all this drama is done. Okay, now it has been in range, and now there has been a good breakout. If you see here, there is a good volume and breakout. I think now here it will start doing better off. So if you want to take, I think now it is also a good place for us to again buy. If you look at this on the longer term chart, you will be surprised to see that it is actually trying to form a cup and handle. So if you see, there's a big cup which has got formed on the monthly candle, and now the handle is getting formed. So which is actually very good for a stock like this, and we also have a good volume. See, volumes were hardly coming in this stock. See, volumes were seen only at this place in 2018 when it was at the peak, and after that there was no volume, and now volume have started picking up here. Okay, so it is clearly evident that there is some buying, and look at this in the weekly chart also. There's a good amount of buying which has actually started happening, so this is good. So you can look at BPL as a buy. Okay, so which other stocks which we had recommended? IEX had recommended. I have already talked about IEX, and we had recommended about BHEL. Let's look at BHEL. BHEL I had recommended 45 to 55. This is the level. Look at this. The low it has made here is 44 rupees. Look at this, guys. We are still actually good in BHEL also. BHEL also is doing quite okay. It is still at our levels which we have recommended. Remember, all these multi-baggers which we have recommended, it is only for 3 to 5 years, not for anything lesser period. Okay, so any other stock which you have missed out, let me know, guys. Which other stock which we had discussed?
Mindtree and Happiest Mind.
Happiest Mind I had recommended. Mindtree I had not recommended, actually speaking. But yeah, Mindtree is also okay. I don't see any problem. So Happiest Minds, if you see from the time we have actually seen, there is a big movement. From the time it has actually started, it listed around 300, 350 levels. From there, it has moved as high as 1500. Now it has corrected, and I think after correction, I think if somebody wants to accumulate, I think it is at a good place. Again, we can start buying here. I don't see any problem in the stock. Fundamentals, everything is good. Correction has happened across the industry. It has happened here also. Yeah, Paytm is something I had recommended. I'll tell you about Paytm, Zomato, and all I need to tell you. Okay. So let me go for Paytm. See, the problem with Paytm is I told you 900 to 1000, we can look at it, but it did not sustain. See, one thing you need to understand, guys, whenever we have to accumulate, it needs to sustain. So most important thing is needs to sustain. Currently, it has a possibility of sustaining, but let it actually sustain. If you see here, the volumes have definitely improved here. Volumes have definitely improved. Now, see, fundamentals of the company has not changed. See, it's mainly because of valuations are too expensive. That is why people, whoever has, if it is with weak hands, it will not sustain. Okay, so currently at this point of time, it will still have challenges. It will go up, come down, go up, come down. All these things are possible. See, let it form a base. See, it has to form a base. When I say it has to form a base, it has to get into a range here. It should start getting into a range. If it gets into a range, then there is all the possibility. See, here it got into a range. That is the time I told you it can probably sustain, because it was almost 50% of the price. But it actually broke on the negative side. Now it has to form the base. See, I don't see, that is why we always recommend, don't put 100% of the money. You always have to put maybe at least you put 20% or 30%. Some say you have whatever money you want to deploy, don't put the 100% money. You deploy some 20% of the money, then you can deploy another 20% whenever that will come. So if we have deployed some portion here, we can deploy some more portion here. I don't see any problem in the stock. Yes, it will take time. Okay. So it has to still settle down. At this point of time, better to wait. Because here, for almost close to more than 50-20 days, it was in a range. So it was giving some hopes that it will sustain here, but it did not. Now probably we have to start seeing if it can sustain. See, as long it is not going to sustain, it may still go further down. So let us wait for this, because until unless there's a fair valuation which our investor, big smart money people, they are actually feeling that yes, this is the price at which I will want to buy. Till that doesn't come, this will not happen. I think Zomato is showing some amount of movement there. Let me show you that. Look at this. This is something which I'm telling you. This is something which we want. So this is suggesting me that accumulation is started happening here. And remember, I told you the fundamentally the valuation for Zomato is somewhere around 75 to 80 rupees range. So we are at that range, and this is a place where accumulation is definitely happening. So this is a place where we can actually go ahead and buy Zomato. Zomato is perfectly priced at this price. It looks fairly valued. Okay, but Paytm still is not actually. Some people are actually giving a higher target. Some people are giving a lower target. So it is still not settled. So that kind of confidence which is there in Zomato, I don't see that in the charts in Paytm as of now. Okay, so let it settle down. If you have invested also, you can stay there. There is nothing that you need to worry, because our horizon is 3 to 5 years. We are not actually looking at that. Price will definitely come, and it will probably surpass that also. See, these are the new age companies. You understand one thing, guys. If you want to make some big money, like what somebody had made in Infosys and all, people actually talk a lot, right? If such kind of money can be done, it can be done in only these new age companies. New age companies like Zomato, the Paytm, Ola, Oyo, all these companies, Byju's, all these are the companies which have the potential of doing this. Now, but the problem with these stocks are valuations will be quite expensive. Now, smart money has to come in. Smart money has to come, and they should support it, and then only the price will start doing better off here. So currently at this place, Zomato is definitely looking good for me. Rest of the things, Paytm is still in a dilemma at this point of time. But holding on to the stock is not an issue. I don't see any problem because the fundamentals have not changed. The only thing, if you might have seen that some news was there that the RBI has actually stopped it from for the payment bank. Some issues were there, but I think that will be that will actually get resolved soon. I don't see that as a big challenge as such, and they are trying to do something else to get more customers. So they are actually penetration, everything is great with Paytm. So there's no big change in the fundamentals. Yes, some news here and there, and most of the thing is because of the valuation. Valuation is quite expensive. Okay. Any other stock which I have left out, which we had actually discussed? I think I had discussed about Pride, and that price which I was expecting has still not come. Okay. Our expectation of the price was what? Somewhere around 2024. That has not come. Okay. But I think it is going to come. It's going to come. It will actually get settled down. So let it settle down. IRCTC. Okay. Let me see IRCTC. What place I have recommended? I think it is still in a range only. It needs to actually move out of the range. So yes, it is. Yeah. IRCTC, what price I have recommended is not there here. So price I had actually probably recommended, I think somewhere in this range only. It may actually come and settle down somewhere here. 700, 600, 700 rupees is what I had actually probably recommended. 1200, so almost 50%. So 600, 700 rupees is what I had recommended. So currently the low it has made is somewhere around 716 rupees. So it needs to start moving above this levels. See, until it is in this range. See, if you look at this, it is actually in this particular range is where the accumulation is happening. So it needs to start moving out of this particular range. Then only we will start seeing some momentum. Otherwise, here it is actually getting into an accumulation, and this may continue. This may continue for months together. Okay. So I don't see any problem in staying invested in the stock. It's only a matter of some time, because yeah, I think all the COVID things are actually getting normal, and more bookings will start happening, and everything will start doing much better in the coming days. And railways have actually definitely improved a lot in the way the connectivity is there, the time maintenance is there. They have definitely done, and it is a monopoly business. It will actually move higher. It's only a matter of some time. I don't see any problem here. So fundamentals of the company is perfectly fine. It's only that it is getting accumulated at this place. And once the accumulation is done, a big movement will start happening. Then you will see momentum. Till there is no momentum in the stock. It's not good for in trading at this point of time. It is good at the investment part at this point of time. Yeah. Any other stock? Any other questions? Anything which we have missed out? Any other stock which we have missed out?
Sir, can we confirm one of the pattern I could see in one stock, a long cup and handle for 5-6 years period?
Subex I had not recommended, Aditya. I had recommended probably Burger King. Let me actually see that, and then I will talk to you. One second. Burger King I had recommended. Let me see. What is that? What is the name at which it is there? It is not Burger King, is it? Atish, I don't see any problem there. No, I'm not getting here. It is not showing here also. Maybe the name is something else.
I think it's changed to RBA.
Yeah. Not getting anything here. Okay. Restaurants brand Asia. Okay, let's see here. RBA. Okay. Now here I see that the similar thing which was there in case of okay. If this is the same stock, I think here accumulation has definitely started happening. So this is what we want, guys. If at all any stock has been completely coming down, no, look at this kind of a pattern there. It has to start getting into this kind of a range. This is where the base formation is happening. And whenever that base formation is happening, this is where things are probably looking good. This is where the accumulation has started happening. The confirmation for that is we need good volumes also. At this point of time, that is still missing. Okay. If we need one is this, second, we need good volumes, And after good volumes are coming and the breakout of this level will happen, that is where actually you have a confirmation on this. Otherwise, it will continue to be in this range for years together also. See, if you are giving 3 to 5 years time, I don't see any problem here, but don't put 100% money. That's why we always tell you, whichever stock you want to accumulate, always actually start accumulating. You put that in 3 to 4 portions. So if you have invested 20%, then you can invest another 20% here. Okay, because we don't know whether this is the base. It may go down and again form a further base. Because we need volumes. Volume is still missing at this point of time. I need big volumes coming in. Without big volumes, I still don't know if there is big buyers coming in. If there is no big buyers coming in, then the price may not sustain also. We want the price to sustain and the price to move higher. So for that, we need that volume. That volume is still missing at this point of time. If you want to average, you can definitely do, but as I said, don't put huge money there. If you first, you need to decide how much money you want to invest. Suppose you want to invest 1 lakh rupees, 20,000 you are investing at one shot. When it comes down, you are investing another 20,000. When it comes down, you are investing another 20,000. You have to look at this pattern of that accumulation kind of thing. It has to get into a range. Then only you should actually look at taking any kind of fresh entry, especially when the price is coming down. Okay, if the price is moving higher, there is no problem. If the price is coming down, then you have to understand. Because see, all these are IPO stocks, especially IPO stocks, which generally what happens is there will be a lot of money, price which would have moved higher, and from there it may actually fall down. Or it also depends on where, if the valuations were too expensive, it may keep coming down. So when it comes down, until unless, see, right now price discovery is happening. So until unless the investors are seeing that this is a fair value of the stock and they start coming into that, this is going to keep on actually fluctuating and probably coming down. But if we start seeing that there is a lot of buying in coming in, then there is hope. Okay. Definitely, one thing what we can see here is volumes have come here, and after that, what we have seen is price has not come down too much after this volume. So, which suggests that this could be a place where prices can settle down. Okay, shorts probably is done. Then the shorts have actually got covered also. Probably shorts are getting covered also. Okay, so that could be the case in this case. Okay, any other questions, guys? Any other stock? I think somebody was asking about stock, right?
Hello.
Yeah, tell me which stock.
Sir, I was looking Jaiprakash Associates with the weekly chart, and it is making a big cup and handle, I think so. From
Both Jaiprakash Industries and Jaiprakash, this JP Power and JP Associates, both were doing okay. But the thing is, again, this is penny stocks, it will take time. It will take its own time.
If you see from 2018,
see, still there is nothing big which is there. Only one thing is prices have got a little more settled here. See, it has to get out of this range. This range has to be broken. And we need good volumes. Volume is still not there. Some volume came here. After that, we are not seeing much volumes. We need big volumes coming in. JP Associates, we still don't have such big volumes which are there. It is still absent.
right, sir. But do you see the cup and handle there from the weekly chart from 2016 till now?
See, it is still not completed, right? Until it is not completed, we cannot actually conclude. Okay. See, it has to complete this and start moving up. Then actually you can consider that as an upper up and handle. And here we also When it breaks out, we need good volumes.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. REC I had not recommended, but REC can be okay.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Sir, Canara Bank, obviously it's
See, Canara Bank from trading perspective or investment perspective?
investment purpose, sir.
Investment purpose, see, one thing you have to understand, banking stocks and all, when it goes up, it will go up, and when it comes down, it will come down also very badly. So you should not stay invested, especially in banking and finance. At this point of time, banking and finance is one thing which is the weakest link. But what happens is now if they start doing well from here onwards, I think they will also do extremely well. Because see, banking generally is going to take the markets higher. They actually take the markets higher if banking starts performing. Currently, banking is not performing.
I'm being can move away only, sir.
See, if you are staying invested, if you are already invested, then you continue to hold. I don't see any problem there. But
Okay.
ideally, what happens is, as I tell you, when you have, it is more good for trading in a banking stock than an investment. Investment should be better off if you are choosing sectors like IT, sectors like pharma. These places actually are much more stable. FMCG, consumption oriented things, they are actually something which can become multi-baggers. It can grow higher.
Okay.
If you look at banking, it will go higher, but at the same time, it will come back to your old prices.
Okay.
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 Okay. Okay, guys, I think we have completed everything. REC, I think, is not a good stock. It will take its own time because it is in the range for years together unless it is not going to get out of this range. It is not going to have anything. You will see here what is happening in the stock. It is in this range only for years together. It is going to continue to be in this range. Until unless it starts moving out of this range, there is no scope for this. I'm not going to recommend this stock for long term until unless it breaks out a level and start moving higher. It's not good for investment or trading. Nothing actually good about the stock at this point of time. Okay, guys, any other questions you have? If there's nothing else, I think we will wind up the session. Okay, thank you very much.
Sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. See you then next week. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.